Hello, Undead and Unkindled. My name is TVSkyne, and this is a quick little follow-up video. Yesterday, I did the first episode of what I'm hoping will be a series on the channel, analyzing the character designs of Dark Souls bosses while I'm also fighting them. And one of the common comments that was made on that video is that it might be nice if after I'm done, flailing and screaming at the boss in-game until it falls over and dies out of embarrassment, maybe I should go back and with a calmer mind, after having recorded the footage, maybe pause it at some strategic points, find some way to talk about the boss in a more structured way without, simultaneously be attempting to murder it, just to catch up on some of the little things that I might have missed in the heat of the moment. This is actually a very good idea, so this is a quick little addendum to the first video, in which I'm going to take a close look at the Asylum demon, and then in the videos hereafter, I'm going to be attaching a segment like this after the boss fight is over. So, the Asylum demon. Something I covered multiple times while I was actually fighting it in-game is that it is big. And this is, obviously it's the most immediately noticeable thing about it, but its bigness is also put in a particular context, because you enter what seems to be a great hall of some kind with doors that are big and heavy and hard for you to push, and the architecture of the place is already outscaling you as a person, and then the demon enters and it becomes put in contrast to the size of the architecture, i.e. it feels even bigger because it is big in relation to the very room that you inhabit. And the fact that the room is relatively constrained, which is something I ran into a lot of trouble with the urns and the pillars constantly limiting my movement, also makes the whole fight feel more claustrophobic, which again enhances the sense of its size, the sense of its presence. It's, as you saw from my inefficient running around and flailing in the video, the demon has complete reach over the room. Really, if you try and just run away and keep your distance too much, it can reach you with its giant club, which is going to be very unpleasant for you because it's going to come down on your head. So the environment in which the boss is placed has a great impact on exactly what it feels like to encounter the character design, which is the thing I'm looking for in this video, is to get the feeling of the average Dark Souls player and figure out what about the boss's design it is that gives you that particular feeling. There are several things I didn't really get to in the video. Now, I mentioned in the proper video that the boss has a number of lumps and bumps all over his body, and indeed you can see them in this particular still image, and you can see how they're not so much bumps on top of his skin as they are things that are poking out from beneath his skin. And that is another visual signifier of disease, of corruption. If, in general terms, if you have stuff poking out of your skin from inside of your body, something has gone terribly wrong. So not only does this make the boss look more disgusting, as it were, it also makes it look more dangerous, because these little bony protrusions essentially make up a coat of spikes around him that makes him look more dangerous to approach. Something else that's going on with the boss, something I kind of tried to get at, the Asylum demon isn't so much fat as it is displaced. It's kind of melted. If you take a look at the shape of its body, most of its body mass is concentrated in the lower body area, with the upper body really not making up that much of the bulk of the thing, combined with the flabs of skin that dominate the lower half of the boss's body. What you get is the sense of something that is almost half melted, something that has perhaps was once firm and strong, but which is slowly being just dragged downwards by the force of gravity and the force of time, which, again, very much a parallel to the story of Lordran, which, as I have come to learn, is very much a story of a kingdom that was once great, that was once gorgeous and beautiful and perfect, but which just the relentless advance of time and the dying of whatever the flame is that keeps the kingdom alive, slowly dragging the kingdom into corruption and disease, which is something that comes across very well with the demon. And further enhancing that connection is the crown of bone that the demon carries atop its head. I commented on the horns a little bit in the video itself, but the thing I missed was that they're essentially a crown. They are a crown of bone that sits atop the demon's head. This thing is king, which again makes sense. This also plays into the issue of its size. Like I said, it dominates the space in which you encounter it. It's complete. It's the lord and master of the room in which you meet it. So the very first thing you do in Dark Souls is you kill a king. A king perhaps only of the undead asylum, but a king nonetheless. And yeah, again, as I mentioned, the wings, which are not quite as useless as I had hoped they would be, they don't look like proper wings. They look like something that may have once been true wings, but which has again been reduced to something that is kind of a disgusting parody of what it once was. The demon's face, too, by the way, the upper lip of the face is kind of dragged up in this permanent snarl. And a snarl is a very primal thing for humans. If you see a dog making a face like that, you're not going to be in doubt for even 1 second that it is hostile. If you see a person making a face like that at you, well, first of all, they have had major reconstructive face surgery, and you shouldn't make fun of them for that. But if a person makes that face at you, they draw back and show their teeth and give you a snarl like that, that is not a friendly expression. So everything about the demon, like I touched on in the video, is very much designed to be hostile, but it also has these thematic connections to the wider world of Dark Souls, which I mean, I've tried very hard not to be spoiled about the lore, but I do know that there's a thing about killing lords and killing, you know, old kings and stuff. That's kind of a theme in this game, hence the bony crown. Anyway, I think that's about all I really had to follow up on with the Asylum Demon. Thank you very much for watching the previous video, and indeed this one as well. And I'll append a segment like this to the end of any future videos in this series. Thank you very much.